Ladies and gentlemen, we are here to explore a topic that is both profound and practical, a subject that lies at the very core of human potential and success. Force yourself to develop good habits. Before we delve into the depths of this life-changing concept, I want you to pause for a moment and consider this fundamental truth. Your habits are the building blocks of your destiny. They are the invisible architecture of your daily life, shaping your character, determining your actions, and ultimately crafting the person you become. You see, my friends, habits are not just routines or behaviors that we mindlessly repeat. They are the manifestation of our choices, the expression of our values, and the very foundation upon which we build our lives. When God created you, He instilled within you the power of choice, the ability to decide who you want to be and what you want to achieve. And it is through our habits that we exercise this divine gift of choice on a daily basis. Now let me ask you, your current habits align with the person you aspire to be? Are they propelling you towards your goals and dreams? Or are they perhaps unknowingly holding you back, keeping you trapped in a cycle of mediocrity and unfulfilled potential? You see, the tragedy of our world is not that people lack potential or opportunities. The real tragedy is that so many of us have developed habits that do not serve our highest good. We've fallen into patterns of behavior that limit our growth, stifle our creativity, and keep us from experiencing the abundance that life has to offer. But today, that changes. Today, we're going to explore how to force ourselves to develop good habits, habits that will elevate our lives, expand our capabilities, and enable us to fulfill our God-given purpose. We're going to discover practical strategies and profound truths that will empower you to take control of your habits and, by extension, take control of your life. Let's begin with the first key to forcing yourself to develop good habits. Understand the power of habits. To truly force yourself to develop good habits, you must first understand the immense power that habits hold in your life. Habits are not just actions we repeat. They are the operating system of our lives. They shape our days, influence our decisions, and ultimately determine our destiny. Consider for a moment the great achievers of history. What set them apart wasn't just talent or opportunity. It was their habits. The habits of discipline, perseverance, continuous learning, and relentless pursuit of excellence. These habits, practiced day in and day out, compounded over time to produce extreme. You see, success is not an event. It's not something that happens overnight. Success is the result of small, consistent actions repeated over time. And these actions, my friends, are your habits. But here's the key. Habits work both ways. Good habits can propel you towards success, while bad habits can drag you down into mediocrity or failure. The choice is yours. You have the power to choose your habits, and in doing so, understanding the power of habits means recognizing that every time you perform a habit, you're casting a vote for the type of person you want to become. Every time you choose to read instead of watching mindless television, you're voting for personal growth. Every time you choose to exercise, instead of sitting on the couch, you're voting for health and vitality. Every time you choose to save money instead of spending frivolously, you're voting for financial freedom. These words may seem small and insignificant in the moment, but over time they add up. They shape your identity. They determine your trajectory in life. So I ask you, what kind of votes are you casting with your current habits? Are they aligned with the person you want to become? Are they moving you closer to your goals and dreams? If not, don't despair. The beauty of habits is that they can be changed. No matter how ingrained a habit may be, you have the power to replace it with a new, more empowering one. And that brings us to our second key. Embrace the process of change. Forcing yourself to develop good habits requires embracing the process of change. And let me tell you, change is not always comfortable. In fact, it's often downright challenging. But it's in this challenge that we find growth. It's in this discomfort that we discover our true strength and potential. You see, when you decide to force yourself to develop good habits, you're essentially declaring war on your old self. You're challenging the status quo of your life. You're pushing against the inertia of your comfort zone. And make no mistake, your old self will fight back. Your old habits, your old patterns of thinking and behaving, they won't go down without a fight. But here's the truth. This resistance is not a sign that you're doing something wrong. It's a sign that you're doing something right. It's evidence that you're growing, that you're stretching beyond your current limitations. Embracing the process of change means accepting that there will be struggles and setbacks along the way. It means understanding that developing new habits is not a linear process. There will be days when you feel like you're making great progress, and there will be days when you feel like you're sliding backwards. But here's the catch. Your success in developing good habits is not determined by how you perform on your best days. It's determined by how you respond on your worst days. It's in those moments of struggle when every fiber of your being wants to revert to old patterns that your character is truly tested and formed. So how do you embrace this process of change? How do you push through the discomfort and resistance? First, you must have a clear vision of why you wanted to develop these new habits. What's your motivation? What's driving you? Is it a desire for better health, greater success in your career, stronger relationships, a deeper connection with God? Whatever it is, make sure it's compelling enough to keep you going when things get tough. Next, you need to cultivate patience and self-compassion. Remember, you're not just changing a behavior, you're rewiring your brain. This takes time. Be patient with yourself. Celebrate small victories along the way. And when you stumble, which you will, don't beat yourself up. Instead, treat yourself with kindness and understanding, just as you would a dear friend who's trying to make a positive change in their life. Finally, surround yourself with support. Share your goals with trusted friends or family members. Join a community of like-minded individuals who are also working on developing good habits. There's strength in numbers, and having a support system can make all the difference when you're going through the challenging process of change. Now let's move on to our third key, forcing yourself to develop good habits. Master the art of self-discipline. Self-discipline is the foundation upon which all good habits are built. It's the ability to do what needs to be done, when it needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. It's the bridge between goals and accomplishment. You see, motivation is fickle. It comes and goes, but self-discipline is reliable. It's consistent. It's what gets you out of bed at 5 a.m. To exercise when every fiber of your being wants to stay under the warm covers. It's what keeps you working in your business when everyone else is out partying. It's what enables you to say no to temporary pleasures in pursuit of long-term fulfillment. Now, what some of you might be thinking, but I'm just semi-disciplined person. Let me tell you something. Self-discipline is not a personality trait. It's not something you're born with or without. It's a skill, and like any skill, it can be developed and strengthened with practice. So how do you develop self-discipline? How do you strengthen this muscle of the mind? First, start small. Don't try to overhaul your entire life overnight. Choose one area where you want to develop more discipline. Maybe it's waking up earlier, or exercising regularly, or reading for 30 minutes each day. Whatever it is, start there. Next, create a specific plan. Vague intentions rarely lead to concrete actions. Instead of saying, I want to exercise more, say, I will exercise for 30 minutes every morning at 6 a.m. Be specific about what you'll do and when you'll do it. Then prepare your environment for success. If you want to wake up earlier, put your alarm clock across the room so you have to get out of bed to turn it off. If you want to eat healthier, remove junk food from your house and stock up on nutritious options. Make it easier to do the right thing and harder to do the wrong thing. Also practice mindfulness. When you feel the urge to give in to an old habit or skip your new one, pause. Take a deep breath. Observe the urge without judgment. Remind yourself of why you're doing this. Then make a conscious choice to stick to your plan. Finally, hold yourself accountable. Share your goals with others. Keep a habit tracker. Review your progress regularly. Celebrate your wins, no matter how small, and learn from your setbacks. Remember, developing self-discipline is not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. It's about getting back on track quickly when you fall off. It's about making the right choice more often than not. As you strengthen your self-discipline muscle, you'll find that forcing yourself to develop good habits becomes easier. You'll start to feel a sense of pride and accomplishment in your ability to follow through on your commitments to yourself. And this, my friends, is where true confidence and self-esteem come from, not from external validation, but from knowing that you can rely on yourself to do what you say you'll do. Now let's explore our fourth key to forcing yourself to develop good habits. Harness the power of identity. One of the most powerful ways to force yourself to develop good habits is to harness the power of identity. You see, the most deeply ingrained habits are not just things we do. They're expressions of who we believe we are. Think about it. The person who identifies as a healthy eater doesn't have to force themselves to choose salad over fast food. It's just what they do because it aligns with who they are. A person who sees themselves as a disciplined professional doesn't struggle to show up to work on time and meet deadlines. It's simply a natural expression of their identity. So if you want to force yourself to develop good habits, one of the most effective strategies is to start thinking of yourself as the kind of person who already has those habits. Instead of saying, I want to exercise more, start saying, I am a person who prioritizes physical fitness. Instead of saying, I need to be more organized, say, I am an organized person. I know what you might be thinking. But isn't that just lying to myself? How can I claim to be something I'm not yet? Here's the truth. Your identity is not set in stone. It's not something you're born with and stuck with for life. Your identity is a choice. It's a story you tell yourself about who you are. And you have the power to change that story. When you start to think of yourself as the kind of person who already has the habits you want to develop, you're not lying to yourself. You're choosing to believe in your potential. You're aligning your self-image with your aspirations. And when you do this, your actions will naturally start to follow suit. This is not just positive thinking or wishful dreaming. This is about consciously choosing to step into a new identity. It's about deciding who you want to be and then acting in alignment with that decision. So how do you harness this power of identity to force yourself to develop good habits? First, clearly define the identity you want to embody. What kind of person do you want to be? What qualities and habits would that person have? Next, start small. Look for opportunities to act in ways that align with this new identity. Even tiny actions count. If you want to be a healthy eater, start by choosing a piece of fruit over a cookie just once. If you want to be a disciplined professional, start by organizing your desk. Then celebrate the small wins. Every time you act in alignment with your desired identity, acknowledge it. Say to yourself, this is who I am. Also, surround yourself with people who embody the identity you're aspiring to. If you want to be more disciplined, spend time with disciplined people. If you want to be more positive, surround yourself with positive influences. Finally, be patient with yourself. Remember, you're not just changing your actions. You're reshaping your self-image. This takes time. There will be moments when you slip back into old patterns. When this happens, don't see it as a failure of your new identity. Instead, see it as an opportunity to reaffirm who you're choosing to be. As you continue to act in alignment with your chosen identity, you'll find that forcing yourself to develop good habits becomes less of a struggle. The habits will start to feel more natural, more in line with who you are. And that's when real, lasting change occurs. Now let's move on to our fifth key in forcing yourself to develop good habits. Leverage the power of environment. Your environment plays a crucial role in shaping your habits. In fact, many of our habits are not conscious choices at all, but automatic responses to our environment. This is why it's so important to create an environment that supports the habits you want to develop. You see, willpower is a limited resource. You can't rely on it alone to force yourself to develop good habits. But when you shape your environment to support your goals, you make it easier to do the right thing and harder to fall back into old patterns. Think about this. If you're trying to eat healthier, but your kitchen is stocked with junk food, you're setting yourself up for failure. If you're trying to be more productive, but your workspace is cluttered and disorganized, you're making it harder for yourself to focus and get things done. So how do you leverage the power of environment to force yourself to develop good habits? First, identify the environmental cues that trigger your current habits. Do you automatically reach for your phone when you wake up? Is the TV the first thing you see when you enter your living room? Once you're aware of these cues, you can start to change them. Next, design your environment to make your desired habits easier. If you want to read more, place books in visible locations around your house. If you want to exercise more, lay out your workout clothes the night before. Make a good habits the path of least resistance. Then, remove obstacles to your good habits. If social media is distracting you from important work, delete the apps from your phone. If late night snacking is sabotaging your health goals, don't keep snacks in the house. Also, use visual cues to remind you of your goals and desired habits. Put motivational quotes on your mirror. Use a habit tracker and keep it somewhere you'll see it every day. Make your goals and habits visible in your daily environment. Finally, consider the people in your environment. The people you spend time with have a significant impact on your habits and behaviors. Surround yourself with people who have the habits you want to develop. Their influence will naturally pull you in the right direction. Remember, changing your environment isn't about relying on external factors to force you into good habits. It's about setting yourself up for success. It's about making it easier to do the right thing and harder to do the wrong thing. As you leverage the power of your environment, you'll find that forcing yourself to develop good habits becomes less of a daily struggle. The good habits will start to feel more natural, more automatic. And that's when real transformation begins to occur. Now, let's explore our 6th key to forcing yourself to develop good habits. Embrace the power of consistency. Consistency is a secret source of habit formation. It's what turns actions into habits and habits into a lifestyle. You see, it's not the intensity of your actions that matters most. It's the consistency with which you perform. Many people make the mistake of trying to force dramatic changes overnight. They go from never exercising to attempting 2-hour gym sessions every day. They go from a chaotic schedule to trying to plan every minute of their day. And while this approach might work for a short while, it's rarely sustainable in the long run. The key to forcing yourself to develop good habits is not in grand, dramatic gestures. It's in small, consistent actions performed day after day, week after week, month after month. Think about this. A river doesn't carve through a rock with a single powerful surge. It does so through the consistent flow of water over time. In the same way, you don't transform your life with a single burst of motivation. You do so through consistent daily habits performed over time. So how do you embrace the power of consistency to force yourself to develop good habits? First, focus on consistency over intensity. It's better to meditate for 5 minutes every day than to meditate for an hour once a week. It's better to read 10 pages every day than to read 100 pages once a month. Start small, but be consistent. Next, create a schedule for your habits. Don't leave them to chance or mood. Decide when and where you perform each habit and stick to that schedule as much as possible. Over time, this schedule will become second nature. But then track your habits. Use a habit tracker, a journal, or an app to record your daily progress. This not only keeps you accountable, but also allows you to see your progress over time, which can be incredibly motivating. Also, embrace the power of streaks. Once you've performed a habit for several days in a row, you'll naturally want to keep that streak going. Use this psychological tendency to your advantage. Finally, remember that consistency doesn't mean perfection. There will be days when you miss your habit. That's okay. The key is not to let one missed day turn into 2 or 3 or a week. Get back on track as quickly as possible. Consistency is about the overall pattern, not individual days. As you embrace the power of consistency, You find that forcing yourself to develop good habits becomes easier over time. The habits will start to feel more natural, more automatic. They'll become a part of who you are rather than something you have to force yourself to do. Now let's conclude with our seventh and final key to forcing yourself to develop good habits. Cultivate a growth mindset. It's the belief that your abilities and character can be developed through effort, learning, and persistence. It's the understanding that you're not limited by your current capabilities, but that you can grow, change, and improve over time. This mindset is crucial when it comes to developing good habits because it allows you to see challenges as opportunities for growth rather than insurmountable obstacles. In conclusion, my friends, forcing yourself to develop good habits is not about exerting willpower every single day. It's about understanding the power of habits, embracing change, mastering self-discipline, harnessing your identity, leveraging your environment, embracing consistency, and cultivating a growth mindset. It's about making a decision to become the person you were created to be, and then taking consistent, deliberate action to make that decision a reality. Remember, you have within you the power to shape your habits, and through your habits, to shape your destiny. So go forth, force yourself to develop those good habits, and watch as your life transforms in ways you never thought possible. Your future self will thank you for the choices you make today. God bless you all.